If you recognize that you're in a situation where you're even somewhere in a remote area and it's just the two of you that are going to be in a car by yourselves for a lengthy period of time, here's what I would suggest. Invite someone to go with you. It is never good for a boyfriend or girlfriend whose hormones are raging to go on a road trip together. Why? Because there is an unnecessary time that's just out there. You don't know when it's going to happen, but you know you have this end destination. And there's lots of excuses that you can come up with along the way. Well, we had to stop, and use the restroom. We had to stop and do this because your hormones are raging. You like each other. You're attractive. And it just presents opportunities that the devil would love to lay hold of. So as we think going forward about the fact that it can sneak up on us, to protect ourselves, we have to have certain safeguards. But then, it sneaks up on us. Okay, the reality of being caught up in this moment. David is in the midst of this moment. Bathsheba's good looking. She's naked. He likes what he sees. He's asked about her. They tell her that she's a married woman. In fact, one of his mighty men, one of his homeboys, that's his wife. And this is what happens to David, verse 4 that we just read. David sent messengers and took her, and he lay with her. Those of you that don't understand Old Testament and biblical statements about laying with her, they had sex. That's what just took place. So, in the midst of this sneaking up on him, it turns into action. See, it sneaks up. There's never a sign that says, hey, you're about to have sex. Okay? Hey, if you start doing this little bitty thing, it's going to lead to sex. There's no sign out there that says that. It just happens. And then when you get in the midst of this moment, when you're caught up in the moment, like David was caught up, action is going to happen. Where the enemy has been lurking, where temptation is at a height, action is going to happen. The action is going to be one of two things. You turn and run away, or you fall sexually. So it's going to turn into action. Action is inevitable. You can't get around it. Something is going to happen. There's going to be an end result. And the bottom line is this. I'm just going to be, looking, parents, you can unwrap all this at home, okay? Because I'm just going to be honest because that's my job. I've been called of God to be honest and not sugarcoat this. Here's the bottom line. You cannot accidentally have sex, okay? It doesn't happen by accident. I once counseled a girl, not here, but she had tested positive for a sexually transmitted disease. She came in my office. She said, Chad, she said it was an accident. I was like, no, it wasn't. She's like, yes, it was. I was like, no, it wasn't. She was like, I didn't mean to. I said, I'm sure you didn't mean to, but it wasn't an accident. She's like, what do you mean it's not an accident? I said, did you accidentally take off your clothes? Well, no. I was like, did you accidentally proceed with the other things necessary for you to get this disease? No. You see, we accidentally get to a point that we fall, but we don't accidentally fall. We don't accidentally act on our sexual desires. And that's something that's important for you to remember as a follower of Christ. That it doesn't happen by accident. That it's not something that you're going to get in the moment and it's going to be, oops, that just happened. No, you're going to have a choice to make. It's going to be your choice, nobody else's. She can't make you do anything. You can't make her do anything. So in the midst of that moment, you have a choice to make. They can't make the choice for you. It's yours. So that's why it's important to have safeguards. That's why it's important to know that eventually it's going to lead to some sort of action. But let's look on to what happens with David. Look with me at verse number 5. David has his moment. She goes home, okay? David sends her away. She's going home. I've had fun. It's been nice. And this is what we find in verse 5. And the woman conceived. She sent and told David, I'm pregnant. There's some action that happens and then reality sinks in. So what's going to happen? You have sex outside of God's plan for your life. Reality is going to sink in. It is. You are going to realize what happened. You're going to realize that it was wrong. You're going to realize that there's certain consequences, certain repercussions that take place. At some point in time, if you fell, Lord willing you don't, but if you fell, reality is going to sink in, and it has sink in for David. Bathsheba comes back and says, hey, homeboy, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. statistics that I think would be important for us all to consider tonight. They'll come up on the screen. Here's the reality. Every year in America, there are 750,000 teen pregnancies. 750,000 individual people who get pregnant. That's 750,000 young women that become pregnant as teenagers. You do the math. Not so long ago, that was the size of the city of Austin. The entire city of Austin. Let's move on. 82% of those pregnancies, which is 18%, but 82% of these are unplanned. Which I'm like shocked that 18% of teenage people are like, hey, let's have a baby. You know, that's just stupid, okay? If you're thinking that, okay, I just want to know if that thought is going through your mind, that is dumb, okay? There's nothing good about that idea. But 82%, the vast majority of these 750,000 pregnancies are unplanned, meaning they were in the midst of a moment, they were feeling good, they were enjoying life, but they did not want a baby. They didn't want pregnancy. They didn't want what comes naturally out of the result of sexual intercourse. They didn't want that. They weren't planning for that. They weren't expecting that. But guess what? Reality happened. That's how you make a baby. If your parents hadn't taught you that already. If your parents hadn't taught you that, that's a great conversation on the way home. But in all honesty, we have to understand this reality. Sometimes as teenagers, I know what it's like when I was a teenager. We live in a dream world. That would never happen to me. That would never happen. Now, Chad, I'm smarter than that. They've taught me at school that I can use protection. There's birth control pills. There's all this stuff that you can take to prevent baloney, okay? There is no foolproof way from avoiding pregnancy than abstinence. That's the only foolproof way. The only one. It's just saying, you know what, I'm going to follow God's word and not have sex until my wedding night. That's it. But let's continue on, because it's not just pregnancy. Girls, it's not just something that can happen to you. Did you know that 50% of all new HIV cases in America happen among teenagers? HIV, if you didn't know, is the virus that causes AIDS, which has no cure. And 50% of those cases, 1 in every 2 HIV cases in America today, happen with teenagers having sex. It's not blood transfusions. It's sex. But we can continue on. 1 in 2, 50% of sexually active teenagers will contract an STD by the age of 25. You like your chances? Like, okay, here, this is how you can sum up your chances. Look at the person right next to you. Just look at it for a